Hey everyone, it's Danielle Duplessis, your wellness coach from Cape Town, South Africa. I hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. I managed to do some training on Saturday. It was a bit of a mission, I must be honest. I struggled to get myself out of bed to train. It was a bit cold and raining and just overcast here in Cape Town, but I managed to push through it and I'm glad I did. I hope you guys had a good weekend and that you relaxed and had some nice downtime and took it easy and just had made some time for yourself. Guys, today I wanted to talk about relationships. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, oh goodness, been there, done that, know it all. But I think it's a very, very important topic or subject to talk about. How many of you have either been or know of someone who's been in a really bad relationship? How many of you? I bet a lot of you are either nodding your head or raising your hand at the moment. You know, a lot of us talk about this one's in a bad relationship and this one's in a really unhealthy relationship. But do we actually know the negative effects of a toxic or unhealthy relationship? Now, in this video, I'm going to touch very briefly on the signs or characteristics of an unhealthy relationship. Okay? I'm going to talk about things that are quite common, things that we see quite often and read about quite often when it comes to toxic relationships. And one of those things, guys, is disrespect. You know, if your partner is disrespecting you, either in public or behind closed doors or both, that is not okay. And that is not normal. Okay? If your common partner is constantly putting you down and belittling you and just humiliating you and talking down to you, that's not okay. That really, really is not okay. And it's not normal. And it's not something that you should put up with. You know, so often we get accustomed to a certain way of behavior or a certain way that someone talks to us and we think it's okay and that it's normal, but it's not. You know, it isn't something that you should get used to, or it isn't something that should be normalized. So if your partner is constantly disrespecting you, constantly putting you down, constantly making you feel this small, and just constantly making you feel worthless, then that's not okay, and that's something you should not put up with. Okay, so disrespect's a big one. We see it and read about it a lot. The other one is dishonesty. So in relationships, you know, not a lot of people, sorry, forgive me, I mustn't generalize, but in relationships, sometimes one partner or both partners tend to become very dishonest over time. You know, and generally that's a sign of them hiding things away, or they perhaps cheating or being unfaithful, or just not being very truthful about their actions or their whereabouts or their behavior. But regardless of the nature of the dishonesty, being dishonest and lying to your partner is not acceptable. You know, if you're with someone, then you should be open and honest with that person at all times, regardless. And sometimes we're scared, you know, sometimes we say to ourselves, but I'm scared they're not going to like what I say, or I'm scared of their reaction to what I'm going to say. But if you don't say it, or if you don't feel you are, you can be honest with your partner, then you need to ask yourself some tough questions. You know, in a relationship, it's very, very important that you feel that you can be honest with your partner and tell them how you feel. You know, let's say, for example, that I'm going to use a really common example. Maybe someone cheated in a relationship and now it was a mistake, it was a once-off thing, and you regret it and you feel absolutely terrible about it and ghastly about it. And now your partner obviously starts suspecting some things, or they notice something's amiss, and maybe you're feeling guilty, and you know it's starting to show. Hiding that dishonesty is never good long term, because you know, guys, eventually it's going to come out, and the longer you wait, the worse it's going to get. So So whatever it is that you're not being honest about or truthful about, get the courage and just be open and honest, guys. Sometimes it's not always going to be easy, especially when it's something we don't want our partners to hear or to know. But when they do find out, and especially when they find it from someone else, it's worse. So dishonesty is never a good thing. Covering up lies is never a great thing. And it's not okay either. Okay? Another factor I'm seeing quite often in toxic relationships is control. Now, in a lot of relationships, there might be someone who's the dominant figure. They make all the decisions, they control movement, they control what we're doing, where we're going, how we're doing it, who you can see, who you can't see, what you can wear, not wear, things like that. And that's not okay either. In fact, that's really, really bad. No form of control is healthy. When your partner wants to start controlling your movements and your decision making. In a relationship, no one should control the other person. You're both free people, and I mean that very lightly. What I mean by that is you're both capable of making your own decisions, and both parties should be open to hearing the other person's decision. Okay, there's no win dominating or controlling your partner. Okay, it's abuse, and it's not something that should ever be something that you should get accustomed to. Okay, it may have been something that you've been going through for years and you think this is how it's always going to be, but it's not normal. And if you don't change that behavior or speak up to your partner, then probably that is how it's always going to be. So the change starts with you. You need to speak up and you need to verbalize how you feel. Okay, it's not normal, it's not okay, and it's not something that anyone should get accustomed to. Alright, so be open, be honest, speak about how you feel, and just know that you need to verbalize your feelings. Keeping it all bottled up and keeping it to yourself is just going to have negative consequences down the line. It's going to make things worse for yourself anyway. So whether you do it today or tomorrow, speak up. Say how you feel. Okay? The other thing is physical or sexual dominance. Now, this is something I've also read about time and time again. One partner dominating the other in certain aspects when it comes to, specific activities. And that's not okay, guys. It really isn't. It doesn't matter if this is your husband or your fiance or your boyfriend. They don't own you. Okay? They are not allowed to dictate or tell you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. All right? It's not normal, and it's not okay, and it's not something that you should put up with. All right? So if there's something you're not happy about, if there's something you're not comfortable with, if there's something you're uneasy about, speak up. Okay? Say how you feel. Because if you don't say anything, it's just going to continue. But you might be thinking, I've tried saying something, nothing's changed, or he or she hasn't changed their behavior, it's just gotten worse, or they changed for 2 weeks and it's back to them carrying on with their behavior again. But guys, if their behavior is not changing, and you've spoken about it time and time again to them, then you need to really, really also just sit down and ask yourself some tough questions and make some hard decisions. Okay, because it's not okay to feel dominated. It's not okay to have any form of sexual or physical dominance. It's not okay to be controlled. It's not okay for your partner to just dominate you and belittle you and just make you feel terrible. It's not okay. Okay, it's not normal. And I say it's not all normal quite often because a lot of people get so used to the treatment that it's normalized. Okay, this is just how he treats me, and this is how it's been, and this is just how we've always been together. But it's not okay. It really, really isn't. And it should never be okay. Specifically if you've got children, children are so susceptible. They watch how mom and dad talk to each other, they watch how mom and dad behave around each other, and they eventually think this is normal behavior. So what happens? They grow up, and either they end up in an abusive relationship and they accept that behavior because that's all they've seen and that's all they've known, or they become the abuser. So a lot of parents think staying for the kids, or just in the hopes that it will get better, is going to be beneficial, but it's not. In fact, it does more harm than good. So you really have to ask yourself questions. Are you happy? Does your partner respect you? Can you be open and honest with your partner? Do you trust your partner? Is there equal compromise in the relationship? Are you both 100% committed? Are you able to communicate openly and effectively without feeling scared or intimidated or fearful of the other person's actions? A healthy relationship is based on the 3 C's: communication, commitment, and communication, commitment, and compromise. If those 3 things aren't being met, then there's some issues, guys, and there are some problems in your relationship. Now, I know relationships aren't always going to be perfect, and that's okay. We aren't perfect people, we make mistakes. But when the behavior or the negative behavior is repetitive, when it's ongoing, when it becomes a daily, monthly, yearly thing that just happens time and time again, it's not okay. And I know some of you are in situations where you think he's the breadwinner, or he's the sole provider, or what are people going to think if I leave him, or where am I going to go, or what about my kids? And those are normal concerns, all right? But there's got to be people in your circle, close people that you really trust and that you can confide in, But if your relationship is not doing you good mentally, physically, emotionally, then what are you doing? You don't deserve the kind of life, or you don't deserve to be in an unhealthy relationship. No one does. You deserve happiness. You deserve someone who's going to respect you and treat you well, and someone who's going to be good to you and good for you. Your partner should motivate you. They should push you to achieve your goals and dreams and aspirations. Your partner should be your biggest supporter. Your partner should be the one encouraging you to be a success. Your partner should lift you up, not lift you down, not be dishonest, not lie, not cheat, not belittle you or disrespect you or try and dominate you. No, that's not okay, and that shouldn't be accepted at any level. So if you are if you are in a relationship where things have been unhealthy for a while and it's not getting better, and you're not getting better, then you've got to start making some changes in your life, guys. I know it's not easy, especially when you've been with someone for so long. It's difficult and it's hard. But if you don't make the change today, it's going to have dire effects on you long term, and your children if you do have. So take the steps. I know it's hard. I really, really do. I know it's difficult. But if you want to see change, be the change. Make the change. At the end of the day, you are the only person that can change what's going on in your situation. No one else can. So my advice is, know that you deserve the best. Know that you deserve to be treated absolutely well. And know that you are capable of becoming a success. And that person does not determine your success or your outcome in life. You do. It starts with you. So I know that wasn't the most cheeriest of topics to talk about, but I think it was a very important one, and I think a lot of us needed to hear it today. So if you are experiencing those things in your relationship, take some time out, think about what you want, and do what's best for you. because only you can.